Hey there, Storm fans. Bryant Cook, and today we're playing a brand new card from Lord of the Rings Tales of Middle-earth. I am talking about the One Ring, the namesake card out of this set. Everybody's super excited. In fact, today, the One Ring, the one of one, was actually opened. Yes, there's, I'm sure, thousands and hundreds of thousands of copies of the One Ring, but there was a one of one printing that was opened. It's been posted. It's been graded by PSA. Super sweet. Happy for the Magic the Gathering community. Hopefully more stuff like this happens because I think it's just good for the game. If you look at the sports card industry, they've been doing this since the early thousands, so it's about time the Magic the Gathering caught up. But that's not the point of this video. Today, we're going to be playing this card, and if you're unaware of what it does, it's 4 mana for a legendary artifact. When it enters the battlefield, you gain protection from everything until the next turn. Okay, everything. And then at the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 1 life and you put a burden counter on this artifact, and then you could tap it and draw a card for each burden counter on there. So the life loss is not tied to drawing cards. So you can untap the One Ring a ton of times and draw a whole bunch of cards before you ever even have to pay life for it. Well, how can we untap it? Well, funny you should ask. In Lotus Breach, we play Dream's Grip, which is a Twiddle effect. So you can tap or untap target permanent. It has an Entwine. And then we play actual Twiddle from Alpha Beta. So you can tap or untap target artifact, creature, or land. Okay. So we play those. In today's video, we're also going to be playing Vizier of Tumbling Sands. And why is this good? So obviously the One Ring is super powerful. Everybody's playing it. It gives you essentially, you can't lose the game until your next turn. You can, but not really. Like, it's really tough to kill someone through the One Ring, the shield that it provides you. So why is that good here? Well, if in Lotus Breach in particular, this deck was always weak to graveyard hate, and when you have the One Ring, you can just keep on untapping over and over again until you accumulate enough cards to Thassa's Oracle and win the game without ever really needing your graveyard, or at least most of your graveyard. I'll say that. So that's pretty interesting that you can actually beat something like a Dauthi Voidwalker with it on the table, or just drawing until you get enough resources to answer the Dauthi Voidwalker with a Void Snare. That's super interesting. On top of that, it just provides a nice failsafe in case you don't find Lotus Field. You can also just, once again, use your Twiddle effects to draw cards until you do find the Lotus Field, or just win with Thassa's Oracle if the Lotus Field for some reason has been exiled. So this card just provides a lot of backup situations where previously you were weak to Blood Moon. You can theoretically win through a Blood Moon now with the One Ring. You can win without your graveyard. It just provides the deck with a unique access, or access, I should say. And it does come at a cost, so we had to change our deck list a little bit. Today we are not playing Mishra's Bauble, a card that I actually really like in this deck, but it doesn't reward the One Ring. Instead, we're just playing Sleight of Hand, the Street Wraith, and then the Bauble slot became Vizier of Tumbling Sands. I think it just makes more sense to have cards that we can actually use on our combo turn, especially ones that draw us more cards like Vizier. You could play something like Hidden Strings in this deck as well, because Hidden Strings untaps both Lotus Field and the One Ring. I'm aware of this, but I think it's a little bit clunky, and it's really only good when you're already in a winning position. It's bad when you're not winning, and that's one of the biggest downsides of the card in my opinion. So I'm choosing not to play that today. But this is the core we're playing, and you might be saying, Bryant, you hate Thassa's Oracle in this deck. Why would you play this over Grape Shot? So I talked about the shield from the One Ring. Thassa's Oracle doesn't care about that. You can play Oracle and win the game through your opponent's copy of the One Ring. Okay, that's pretty cool. And on top of that, we're less concerned about answering Dauthi Voidwalkers due to the One Ring. We can just win with it on the table, and I think that's a pretty interesting aspect as well. So that's what I've got. I am super excited to play this card. This league will be my first time playing the card. The One Ring only recently became available as a rental through my sponsor Card Hoarder. By the way, definitely go check them out. And I've been dying to play the card, but it was a little out of my price range. The card is up to 150 tickets on Magic Online, which is insane. $600 for a playset. But thanks to Card Hoarder, I get to play it today for you. So definitely go check out Card Hoarder. And hopefully you enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the first match. Don't go anywhere. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You can also show your support by becoming a member of this channel. You get sweet perks such as badges, emotes, early access to videos, exclusive members-only content, and access to our members Discord section. As you increase the tiers, there are other rewards such as shop discounts, cyborg guides, and even free donation decks. Click the join button down below to find out more. We also have other ways you can support us, like theepicsforum.com/shop or submitting a donation deck via theepicsforum.com/donation decks. That's enough for now. Let's play some Magic. Alright, time for match number 1. I did notice that I forgot to move my mic up, so my audio might have been a little bit lower in the deck tech. I do apologize. But we're in match number 1. We've opened up 2 lands, a 1 ring. I think I'm going to keep this. Let's see what our opponent's up to. With this hand, we are looking for a Lotus Field. That is the card we want the most here. Land 3. Alright, we're going to fetch a basic. No need to take unnecessary damage here. And Sleight of Hand. Take another Sleight of Hand. We'll pass the turn. On our end step, the opponent grabbed a Temple Garden, Overgrown Tomb, 2 mana into Samwise Gamgee. This is also a new card from Lord of the Rings Tales of Middle-earth. Obviously, it's Samwise. So, green and a white. Whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, create a food token. You can sacrifice 3 food tokens to return target historic card from your graveyard to your hand. And it's a 2/2. Underworld Breach is not a bad one. Let's search out the Steam Vents, I guess. Ouch. Sleight of Hand. We find another Twiddle. Okay, so we're really just looking for that Lotus Field at this point, and then we have a pretty easy win. And I could have gotten another basic here, but I didn't want to cut myself off colors. Rosy Cotton of the Southland. I've never seen these cards before. Alright, so it's a 3 mana, 2 and a white for a Halfling Peasant, 1/1. Whenever it enters the battlefield, create a token. Whenever you create a token, put a 1/1 counter on it. On target creature you control other than Rosie. So it's going to make Samwise larger. Okay. So Samwise is now a 4/4 and will fall to 12 life. Ouch. Draw for turn. Another Sleight of Hand. Okay. Wishclaw Talisman. Interesting. So this could guarantee Lotus Field next turn. So I would go to 9 and they have 5 power on the table. So they would need to create 4 food tokens next turn. So they would have to cast 2 creatures for lethal. I don't think I'm comfortable. Like, I think 2 creatures is a very reasonable ask out of them, so I'm not going to fetch Shock into Wishclaw Talisman. Captain Ranger, huh? That one's brutal. Wow. That hurts. I don't know if we're going to be able to beat that. They have 6 power now. And they have the Cauldron Familiar. I might be wrong, but this might just be lethal. Or no, they need a sacrifice outlet for the Cauldron Familiar. For some reason, they didn't attack with their Rosie. Yeah, we're going to take this. And their end step will fetch. Grab the Watery Grave. Will they just sacrifice the Captain Ranger here? They don't. Yeah, I'm dead. Brutal. We were just short. We didn't find the Lotus Field in time. Okay, so this doesn't seem like a matchup where Pact of Negation is particularly good. I'm going to get rid of that. I do think we want Echoing Truth. And let's try resubmitting and hopefully having a better start. Game number 2, let's try it again. So this time we have Lotus Field, but no other lands. That's a tough one. Okay, deck. This is not ideal. This is pretty good, so we'll keep this. Bottom the Thassa's Oracle and the Echoing Truth. Alright, so we need to find another land. That's the first item on our to-do list here. Grab the island. Play a Consider. We're not allowed to keep the untap effect. We just have to find a land. There we go. They play a Razorverge Thicket into Birds of Paradise. Another land. So that guarantees a turn 4 One Ring. Wall of Roots, you've got it. They play a Noble Hierarch. And a Cauldron Familiar. Pretty good start from them. We'll just grab a Watery Grave here. Okay, so we untap. So I could float mana, play Lotus Field, untap the Lotus Field with the Vizier, but that doesn't get me up to 4 mana, so I'm just going to consider here. We'll bin the second copy of Lotus Field. Another One Ring. Okay. Selected company. Orcish Bowmasters. Wow. Against the One Ring deck, that was a very good hit. I don't like that. Alright, so they're a Samwise Gamgee away, I believe. We'll draw for turn. It's a Street Wraith. Fetch down to 13. We'll play a One Ring. Okay, and let's draw a card. I have protection from everything, so currently the Bowmaster isn't that big of a deal. And they had to target themselves, which is kind of funny. Rosie, okay. They have one card in hand. Looks like they're creating infinite squirrels. That's cute. And then they can get infinite scries with their Vizier here. Magic Online just gave me a warning about how a loop was detected. Does this just draw the game? Do they have a way of stopping it? I guess they could target another creature. Okay. They stop with a 54/54. No blocks. In our upkeep, we lose 1 life for the burden counter. We'll draw for turn. It's a land. We'll play out the land. We'll put a burden counter, and I guess we're going to take 2 off the Orc army. Or, I'm sorry, the Orcish Bowmaster. Okay, and then we will play an Underworld Breach. Let's Dream's Grip to untap the Lotus Field. We'll exile 3 lands. So now I can play another copy of One Ring just to give myself protection. So we'll do that. I'm going to keep the original. And now we can untap the Lotus Field. Okay, and now we will cycle a Vizier. Untap. We'll draw a card. We're at 10 life. Our opponent's Orcish Bowmaster triggers on the stack. And now we'll use the blue mana floating. We will untap the One Ring. And now we'll draw 3 cards. I have found Void Snare for the Orcish Bowmasters. It does have flash, though, so they could always replay it. Okay, so I'm going to cycle a Street Wraith. It does make me lose life here. We will untap the One Ring. Let's draw some cards. Their opponent's shooting their Tree Folk over and over. I'm going to cycle and untap the Lotus Field. I will untap the One Ring, so now it's going to draw 5 cards. Draw 5. It's kind of crazy that multiple copies of the One Ring allows you to ignore Bowmasters. We'll untap the One Ring once again. This time it will draw 6 cards. Draw. And now we need to untap our Lotus Field, so we'll do that. Looks like we hit a couple more Twiddles. We'll untap the One Ring. Draw 7. Untap the One Ring. This time we draw 8. And we're at 5 cards in deck, which is the perfect number for the Tome Scour in our hand. So we'll untap Lotus Field. Untap Lotus Field. And now what we'll do is we will Tome Scour targeting ourselves. Oh, I can't target myself. Ooh, okay. Good to know, good to know. I didn't realize that. This is actually not that big of a deal. We can clear our library. It just takes a few more clicks. We'll cast a Consider. Bushclaw can go to the graveyard. Consider. That can go to the graveyard. Now we have no deck. Tap for triple blue. And Thassa's Oracle. Triggers. Boom! We won a game. Alright, let's go get game number 3 now. I think we should just resubmit. I don't think either of the ley lines are particularly good in this matchup, so let's just run it back. This looks like a keep to me. The opponent has mulliganed. Turn 1 Temple Garden, and they pass the turn. Alright, so let's go search out a basic. Cycle the Street Wraith before they can play an Orcish Bowmasters. We'll go to 17. Ouch. 15. Another Twiddle. Sleight of Hand. There's our Lotus Field. Alright, our draw is now looking very good. Overgrown Tomb, a Cauldron Familiar. Let's start with a Sleight of Hand. We'll take a Dream's Grip. Place Demons tapped. Pass the turn. Another Cauldron Familiar. They have an untapped Temple Garden. That brings us to 12. Blue, blue. Play the Lotus Field. Sacrifice 2 lands. We'll untap the Lotus Field. Yes, I would like to untap it. And then we'll play the One Ring. Action from everything. Draw card. Alright, pass. Noble Hierarch. What are they doing with this? Like, they've refused to tap this Temple Garden the entire game. A little skeptical that they might have like a silence or something. We're going to entwine Dream's Grip. Alright, so they didn't have anything. I'd rather not lose to like a random silence, so I'm okay with that. Untap the One Ring. Yes. Draw 3. There's an Underworld Breach. Okay. Untap the Lotus Field. Tap this for red. Play the Breach. And now we can untap Lotus Field. Yes. Now we'll untap the One Ring. Draw. Untap the One Ring. This is fun. Draw 5. Let's fetch out a land. Put another card in the graveyard for escape. We'll untap the One Ring, exile that land. So now the One Ring draws 6. We hit another Twiddle. Untap the One Ring. We'll draw 7. We'll cycle with Vizier, untap the Lotus Field, draw a card, untap Lotus Field. So this way we just have some extra blue in our mana pool. Alright, so no more Twiddles in my hand. We will untap the One Ring, exile that Vizier, and a couple other Twiddle effects in here. Yes. So now this draws 8, and I have 6 cards left in my deck. We will untap with Vizier, draw. I believe I can target myself this time with the Scour because I didn't end up playing another copy of One Ring. So we should be able to respond to an Endurance if need be. Triggers with no library, and we are victorious. So let's say our opponent had an Endurance there. So what we can do is we can burn our graveyard with a Underworld Breach. Just keep on escaping over and over and over again. And another thing we could do is, even if for some reason we wanted to allow the Endurance to resolve, you could also just keep considering to empty your deck. So we had a couple of different options there to beat Endurance. Never mattered. The One Ring was terrific this match. Let's go try to win match number 2. Moxfield.com is the easiest way to build a Magic deck online. They support over 30 formats, including Legacy and many other Eternal formats. There are so many options to view decks the way that you want, from text view to individual cards, mana value, and even card price. There's also light mode and dark mode. My personal favorite feature is card tags. This way you can sort cards by function. Moxfield supports collection tracking, Scryfall search, decklist feedback, and so much more. Follow me on Moxfield.com so you can stay updated on all of my decks. Match number 2, we're on the play. So this finds Lotus Field, and then we have to find an Underworld Breach or whatever. I think that this is ultimately a fine keep. We'll pass the turn. We have like the One Ring, Breach. There's like a number of draws. Lotus Field itself is a good draw. So we have a lot of hits here. Looks like we're facing Tron. They are a deck with Karn the Great Creator in it, and I'm sorry, yeah, Karn the Great Creator. And Karn the Great Creator will shut off our One Ring. We find another land. Ultimately not what we need. Play Wishclaw. Pass the turn. They're almost to Tron. That's pretty scary. Draw for turn. Cycle Street Wraith. I'm going to use the Wishclaw. It's a little bit... I mean, I'm giving Tron a Wishclaw Talisman. I'm aware of this. But I think that I just need to get Lotus Field if I want a reasonable chance at winning this game. So that is what I'm going to do here. And if they don't have Karn the Great Creator, I hypothetically have a win next turn. So if it's just like 7 mana Karn, assuming that they would use Wishclaw, they had Natural Tron. So now they have 7 mana plus a Wishclaw Talisman. Underworld Breach would be my best draw at this point. Our opponent plays Karn the Great Creator. Okay. Unfortunate. They use the Karn. Chalice of the Void. Yeah, Chalice for 1 beats me. Okay, that is a rough one, but there's still 2 post-board games. Let's get these Pact Negations out of our deck. Bring in Echoing Truth, filter out, and maybe even Spell Pierce. So that's 63 cards. Actually, I don't think I want Spell Pierce. I think that's a little bit of a trap. Board out maybe 1 copy of the One Ring against the deck with Karn the Great Creator. I don't hate that. Like, obviously it's very good, but having 4 of it might be a lot against a deck that shuts off artifacts. Yes, I'd like to be on the play. Sure, we'll try this. Go search out a basic. Consider. Yeah, I'll keep that. Pass the turn. Are you Blue-Tron? What? Cycle. Sleight of Hand is not bad. We'll take the Echoing Truth, play a Watery Grave, and we'll pass. Hers is mine. I think I'm supposed to hold the Wishclaw. Like, why would I play into Condescend here? Although I suppose I could cycle the Vizier. Yeah, maybe that's better. So it plays around Condescend, but if they have like a Remand, untap, draw. Oh, do we just have a win here? Believe we do if our opponent doesn't have much. Twiddle? Yes. Let's see if we can bait something out here with this Underworld Breach. 2 mana. And they do have Remand. Okay. We will escape. I'm sorry, not escape. We will Twiddle again. And now we'll cast the Underworld Breach. We'll escape a Twiddle. And now we can tap this for black, play Echoing Truth. What am I talking about? Play Wishclaw Talisman. Please forgive me, I don't know words. Activate, and now we'll go get Tome Scour. Twiddle from graveyard. Yes. We'll scour ourselves. And this is the loop. We just mill our deck until we get to Thassa's Oracle. Alright, so I've twiddled, and now I'm going to just Tome Scour. I'm not going to narrate all of this for you. I think it would be pretty boring, so instead, I'm just going to sit here in awkward silence as I mill my deck. Alright, so we've milled our deck down to 5 cards. We will now scour targeting ourselves. The Oracle is in the bottom 5, which means that we can avoid a surgical extraction on it if for some reason our opponent was playing it. And now we tap for a blue and play Oracle. Pretty clean turn 3 win. I love it. Alright, let's try to win game number 3 now. Blue-Tron. So I do like the counterspells more in that matchup. Question is, what do we board out? I think you need all of your bounce spells, so I don't think you're allowed to take those out. I think it's probably something like Street Wraith. You lose a little bit of consistency, but I do think that Wraith is good. Alright, so I think that this is how we're going to board. We're stretched a little bit thin between interaction and bounce spells and stuff like that, but Blue-Tron has a lot of boxes that we need to fight, so a little bit of a tougher matchup than just your classic mono green Tron. We'll keep this. Explosives for 0. Trying to think why that would be good. Do they have like a Metallic Rebuke or something? But even so, that needs another land. Think I'll take the Dream's Grip. Repeal, okay. Well, I'm glad we found out the answer to that weird play. Now they have an Urza's Mine. Let's cast a Sleight of Hand, see if they remand it. They do. Ouch. Sleight of Hand again. Lotus Field. Seeing both Lotus Field and Underworld Breach, a little bit awkward, but we can't pass up a Lotus Field. Map is back. Draw for turn, and it's a Wishclaw Talisman. Alright, so I'm purposely not going to play out the Lotus Field this turn. Let's try. I want to bait out counterspells if I can. Sleight of Hand. We don't need another copy of the One Ring, but I also don't really need another land. I guess another land is better than an extra One Ring. They're going to use map. And they grab Sunken Ruin. So they want blue-blue available. That's interesting. Blue-black. Explosives on 2. Okay. And they use it immediately. Sure. I guess one upside of taking that land last turn is that I can just play the One Ring now. The One Ring. To rule them all. Cast by Fire, or some other Lord of the Rings thing. I don't know. I did rewatch all of the Lord of the Rings movies about a year ago, right before the Amazon show came out. They definitely hold up well. Relic, that's fine. And they pass with 3 cards in hand. We'll lose 1 going down to 12. Draw. Let's draw 2. They exile a card from my graveyard, sure. Vizier. Untap. Draw 3. Play a Lotus Field. Sacrifice a couple basics. And now let's cycle Viziers. Untap my Lotus Field. Another Twiddle. Untap the Lotus Field. I think we just need mana. Untap the One Ring. I would love it if we won this game without ever playing Underworld Breach, but let's see what happens. Draw 4. Well, there's a Breach. I mean, am I supposed to just play it to make them use their One Ring? Or, I'm sorry, their Relic? There just might be the line here. As much as I love the idea of just winning through whatever they have. Play a Breach. They exile all graveyards. Sure. Let's untap the One Ring. Draw 5. We have to untap Lotus Field here. Now we'll add 3 blue, cycle a Vizier of the Tumbling Sands. Untap. Draw. Another Twiddle. We'll cast that. So now our One Ring draws 6 cards. Tap for blue. Let's escape. And untap the One Ring. Yes, and now we'll draw 7. Plenty of Twiddles in there. Untap the One Ring. We'll draw 8. 3 cards left in deck. Twiddle the Lotus Field. Untap Lotus Field again. Do I have any more Twiddle effects? Just looking to make some extra mana here. Alright, so I think the plan is I'm going to cast a Consider. We'll bend the Breach. And I drew another Lotus Field. Alright, so now I'll add some blue mana and we can just play an Oracle. We have double Spell Pierce plus Pact Backup, all the good stuff. We'll put that on the top. Alright, we did it! We are officially 2-0 with the One Ring. Feeling pretty good about this list so far. Let's see how we do in match number 3. Looking to make playing your favorite combo deck much easier? Look no further than the Epic Storm Mini Token Combo Pack, which is available at theepicstorm.com/shop for $14.99. This combo token pack comes with 84 double-sided tokens. That includes our classic Storm and mana tokens, as well as fan favorites such as Goblins, Squirrels, and Slime Time Live. But that's not all. We've expanded this token pack to cover a variety of formats with new tokens. Stop on by theepicstorm.com/shop and make an easy decision to elevate your combo game. Match number 3, we're on the draw. Keep. You might be saying, double Lotus Field stinks. Why would you keep this? Well, I would keep this hand as a 6-card hand without double Lotus Field. So, yeah. I mean, having an extra dead card, not ideal, but there's always things like Croxa, Liliana the Veil, whatever, that you could hypothetically discard the card to. Turn 1, Dryad Arbor. I think we're going to lose a little bit of life here. There we go. Cast a Sleight of Hand. One Ring or Twiddle? I'm going to go One Ring. Hallowed Fountain? What is going on here? Okay. We find Wishclaw Talisman. This is throwing me off a little bit. Play the Claw. Hopefully they just tap out for something irrelevant like an Omnath or something, but I'm not really sure what they're up to yet. They're fetching 4 mana. I wonder if this is like another Samwise Gamgee food deck. Oh, Prime Speaker's Vannifar. So we need to win now, but I think we can. Lotus Field. Sacrifice. We will cycle a Vizier. Untap. Draw. Another Wishclaw. Let's cycle a Street Wraith down to 13 life. And now we'll search with the Wishclaw Talisman. We'll go grab Underworld Breach. Untap. Yes. Tap this for red. Untap. Yes. Underworld Breach. Ah, they had the main deck Endurance. And I messed up because I probably didn't need to spend one of the Twiddles here. Okay. What can we do? I think I have to consider... I mean, I could play the One Ring, but I'm pretty sure we're dead to the Prime Speaker Vannifar. Well, actually, with the One Ring, they're not going to kill me, but then I have to win off almost no resources next turn. So what's more likely? I consider into a hypothetical win, or the One Ring gets the job done. That's actually really interesting. I'm going to go One Ring. Okay. We'll draw a card. Wow, that was a good one. Okay, so we'll pass the turn and hope that our opponent doesn't kill us with the Prime Speaker Vannifar, plus my own Wishclaw Talisman. Yeah, I definitely should have sequenced the Underworld Breach before my second Twiddle there. That was just a play mistake on my part. I knew that Endurance was a card that could have happened. I was thinking about it the whole time. They attack for 1, sure. They grab a Giver of Ruins. Interesting. Draw for turn. That was an amazing hit. We'll draw 2. Tap for blue. I'm obligated to play this before the Underworld Breach. Let's consider. Keep that. Add red. Cycle the Vizier. Untap. Draw. Let's try to win a second time. That looks like it worked. Alright, so we will untap the One Ring. Draw 3. Need to be a little bit cautious here. So if I burn this Twiddle on the One Ring, I can't escape and I could run out of mana. So instead I'm going to Twiddle my Lotus Field. Yes. And then let's consider. We'll put that to the graveyard. And now I can escape. Twiddle the One Ring. Draw 4. We failed to hit there. Let's fetch out a land. Grab a basic. Consider. Keep the Twiddle. Twiddle targeting the One Ring. Draw 5. Now we'll untap the Lotus Field. So we have the Scour here. I'm going to cast that. Like, you could play the Sleight of Hands, but I don't know. And our opponent concedes. So we've stolen game number 1, beat a main deck Endurance on turn. They Endurance us on turn 3. We untapped and won on turn 4 due to the power of the One Ring, plus a few lucky draws. But I'll take it. So now we have to get 1 post-board game versus this Prime Speaker Vannifar deck. I don't know. Well, I guess we saw Endurance, so maybe I want to keep the packs. They're a black deck with Endurance, so I could also board in ley lines here. That's actually pretty interesting. And then just like take out street rates. I think I like this. Submit. We are running hot. This hand is so good. What we really need out of this hand is a second land, but no chance that I mulligan. Like, if this Thassa's Oracle was a second land, this hand might be ideal. Turn 1 Botanical Sanctum, and they just pass. There we go. We'll pass back. Interesting. So they're just holding open mana for something. Not sure what something is, but they're doing it. Consider. Keep Sleight of Hand. Draw for turn. Another Sleight of Hand. Cast it. Take the Consider, I think. It's just more versatile. Like, Wishclaw's a little clunky at this stage of the game. We don't need either of these. Guess we'll take a spare copy of the One Ring in case one is counterspelled. They search out a Temple Garden into Eladamri's Call. They grab an Endurance. Don't care. Overgrown Tomb. Okay. So they play the Tyvar. So they're a Devoted Druid deck as well. So we could be dead at any stage of the game now. So we just need to play out this One Ring. Sacrifice, sacrifice. We will Twiddle. Yes. Play the One Ring. It triggers. Draw a card. Another Consider. So we know that they have Endurance. We do have 2 Pact of Negation in our deck. We just don't have access to one yet. We also might just be able to beat an Endurance naturally. 4 mana. Prime Speaker. So they're telling me that I need to win now. Interesting. So they can use the activated abilities of this as though they had haste. And so this means that they can endurance and then sacrifice the endurance on our turn. I don't know what 4 mana value card they get with it, but it's something that they can do. We'll draw. Leyline, not terrific here. Okay. Well, actually, Leyline forces out endurance. Worth noting. Let's cycle. Untap the One Ring. Draw. Draw 3. And that can counter the endurance. Tap for blue. Cycle. Untap. Draw. Let's search out a land. Grab the Steam Vents. Ouch. Underworld Breach. They pitch a Night of Autumn. We'll Pact of Negation the Endurance. Boom. 3-0. The One Ring is really impressive so far, especially in a Twiddle shell. Feeling pretty good about this. Let's see if maybe we can go get a trophy. I'll see you in the 4th match. If you're still watching, make sure to give this video a like, comment, and subscribe. While you're near the description, here's a reminder to use our affiliate links if you're going to make a purchase from Amazon, Card Hoarder, or TCG Player. Just above those affiliate links, you'll find our social channels. Make sure to join those to connect with us. Match 4, we're on the draw. Our hand is amazing. We will keep. We're a single Twiddle away from greatness. Looks like our opponent is on Rakdos, though. Tough matchup. The one silver lining here, they can't take Lotus Field with discard, and then we have a ton of redundancy in our hand already, naturally. Well, there's the Twiddle we asked for. Okay. Ragavan connects. We'll go to 18. Oh, one thing that I think is probably worth mentioning is that this list is not playing Otherworldly Gaze, even though that's a card that I've really enjoyed in this deck. It's just because Otherworldly Gaze doesn't help you on your combo turn when you're using the One Ring. So we're not as focused on being a Breach deck now. We're definitely a Breach deck, but we're a Breach deck that has another plan. And you want cards that work with that other plan as well. So there's just not a need to play anything like Otherworldly Gaze. That gives me a turn 3, so I think we keep it. Assuming our opponent doesn't hurt us, that gives me a turn 3. Okay. Please don't do anything mean. They're attacking for 6, so I'm going to fall to 8 life. They have a Ragavan trigger. They had a Misty Rainforest. No whammies, no whammies. Come on. Seasoned Pyromancer is fine with me. They discard a Bolt and a Ragavan. 1 mana available. Ah. They have the Grief. So I think we're probably dead here. I don't know how we'd win. Okay, well that's certainly a good start. So let's play Lotus Field. I guess we can also just like buy time with the One Ring too. But I think we have a Breach win. Draw. So I make blue, add red, search for Underworld Breach. So untap Lotus Field. Make red. Search for Underworld Breach. So the tough part here is that I don't have access to Tome Scour because they've discarded me. Okay, so now we will Dreamscript again. Actually, hold on. I think maybe I'm supposed to Consider. Because Consider gives me more escape fuel. We'll keep a Vizier. It makes a mana and draws a card, so just replace the mana we spent. Draw. Okay. So now we can untap here. So I have enough mana to One Ring draw a card and at least one untap on Twiddle. We'll do that. Okay, so we're protected until our next turn. I'll draw a card. 6. So that means that we could be dead to double Bolt, but they've discarded a Bolt. I'm going to Sleight of Hand. Come on, Twiddle. There we go. And now we'll untap. Yes. Now we can untap the One Ring. We'll pay a blue. Exile Vizier. Consider Dreamscript. Yes. Now we'll draw 2. Ay, ay, ay. We're going to 6. Untap the ring. So now I'm just dead to Lightning Bolt, and I gave them a Wish Claw. So we need to hit here. We missed. We're dead. We're dead if our opponent plays correctly. All they have to do is go get a bolt with the Wish Claw. I guess I could cycle into a Twiddle. That's my line here. Ah, Vizier doesn't do it. Yeah, we fizzled. There's the Twiddle. Okay, so we just have to hope our opponent messes up, I guess. All they have to do is use Wishclaw Talisman to go grab an upkeep Lightning Bolt. Oh no, I'm just dead to my own One Ring. No, I would lose 3. I'm wrong. Okay, I have an out. So they're going to bolt me, and then I can go get a Pact. Okay, so I solved the line. Untap the Lotus Field. Draw a card. And I just drew the Pact. Insane. Okay, so now we'll Pact the Bolt. And I'll go to 1. I have 1 mana floating. I think I'm supposed to just go get it the Underworld Breach right now. Move to my draw step. Let's draw 3. Guess I'm at 1, so it's free to play out a land here. Twiddle the Lotus Field. Yes. Make red. 24 cards are in my deck. We need to leave the Pact of Negation in case anything funny happens. Wow, I can't believe I found the line to win this game. Very, very lucky. Untap the Lotus Field. Make some more mana. Sleight of hand. Take the Wishclaw, I guess. Consider. I'm just trying to create escape fuel at the moment. Untap. Consider. We'll bin the Lotus Field. Untap the One Ring. Exile some cards. So this draws 6. We'll untap the Lotus Field. I feel like I got away with 1 here. Untap the One Ring. So now I draw 7, and there's 2 cards left in our deck. Make blue. Cycle a Vizier down to 1 card. Draw. So land. I can sleight of hand. Take that card. And now we just play Oracle. Wow. That was a sweet one. Holy moly. Okay, so Pact of Negation oddly was good in that game 1. I don't know if we really won it, but it was good there. Get rid of these street raids. I like Echoing Truth. I don't know how good Filter Out is in this matchup because like most of the things we care about are creatures. So I don't think that's a card we want. I'm going to leave 1 Pact in, I think. Maybe I'm just being a coward. Like, we're bringing Leylines. Let's submit this. Game number 2, we've opened up an amazing hand. This hand is a win as long as that I draw into Underworld Breach. Obviously, it doesn't have a Leyline, but I don't know. Turn 1 Ragavan, yep. Another Twiddle. Alright, Sleight of Hand. Take another Sleight of Hand. We'll pass. They attack, we'll fall to 17. The One Ring. They're 1 mana short of playing it, though. Thoughtseize. Our hand isn't super amazing here, so not the end of the world. They take a Sleight of Hand, sure. Gothy Voidwalker. Okay, so them hitting the One Ring was relevant. We'll pass the turn. So we're taking 5 all the way down to 12. They exile a Flooded Strand to the Ragavan. Another Thoughtseize. Alright, you can take my Consider. And they do. Me not keeping Leyline... Oh no, they didn't. They took a Vizier. Okay, I'll Consider here. That can go to the graveyard. We drew another Vizier. Draw for turn. We're just going to sacrifice our lands and pass. My best draw is definitely the One Ring. We have 3 of them left in our deck thanks to Ragavan. I'm at 7. And they hit a Sleight of Hand, and they can cast it because they have blue mana off their treasures. Another Gothy Voidwalker. Okay. Draw. So, we can't cast anything off this Underworld Breach because we only have 3 cards in graveyard. And there's 2 Dothys, so I would need to draw into my Echoing Truth. If I drew the Echoing Truth here, it would actually just be a win. Cycle. Untap. Draw. Okay, we'll try it again. Echoing Truth, pretty please, Echoing Truth. We have 2 of them in the deck. 2 out of 41. Normal odds, let's go. Alright, so I have lost this game. If you're watching this going, Bryant, you have the win. No, I don't. Gothy Voidwalker is on the table. So we will go to game number 3. I'm going to just resubmit and hopefully keep a good 7 with Leyline of Sanctity in it. I mean, this is a good 7. I'm not going to mulligan this. I mean, I would have loved to open up a Leyline here, but this hand is very good. Sleight of hand. Okay, pass. Black Cleave Cliffs. Turn 1 Ragavan for the 3rd game. Right on time, Leyline. Right on time. Alright, so we'll play the Delta and pass. We don't want to fetch, because theoretically we can never beat Ragavan hitting our Thassa's Oracle, and we know that Oracle is on the bottom of our deck, so we don't want to do that line. So we'll fall to 17. They hit a basic island. Thoughtseize, that's brutal. So they can discard my Underworld Breach here. And they do. Alright, so we'll cast a Consider to grab a Swamp. Bowmasters, okay. I mean, that's fine. Consider, sure. So, I mean, it does grow their Bowmasters, but it also makes mana for us. We'll fetch. We really want to draw one of our 3 remaining Underworld Breaches here. There we go. There we go. Lotus Field. Sacrifice, sacrifice. Untap. Blue. Underworld Breach. Now we're just looking for a Tome Scour. Untap the Lotus Field. Their orcs will grow. We get the One Ring. That doesn't really help us here. Cycle Vizier. Untap our Lotus Field. We draw a land. So Consider deals me more damage, but it also fills our graveyard up to keep looking. But I think that's a little bit more important here. Because all we just want is to find that one of Tome Scour. Wishclaw is good. We'll keep the Wishclaw. Alright, so we have 7. I think 7 wins here. So we'll Dream Script to untap Lotus Field. Okay, now we will Dream Script again, untap the Lotus Field. Exile the rest of our graveyard. For some reason it canceled. We'll do it again. I might have accidentally misclicked. It's entirely possible. Okay, and now we will tap for black, play a Wishclaw Talisman. Activate the Wishclaw using the remaining black mana. Go get our Tome Scour. Target ourselves. And now we just have the loop. Okay. Just have to finish executing this, and it should be a victory, assuming no graveyard hate from our opponent. We've milled over our Oracle. 27 cards left in deck. Scour ourselves. Alright, so we have 7 cards left. We're almost done winning. So I'm going to scour myself all the way, I think. Twiddle. We have 2 cards left. Scour, and then into our Thassa's Oracle. Alright, no deck. We'll tap for triple blue. Play Thassa's Oracle. 4-0. We are 1 match away from greatness. Stick around to see if we grab it. Hopefully you're enjoying the One Ring. The Command Tower software by Eminence Gaming is perfect for hosting your own Magic events with features such as easy-to-create event registration for 4-player and one-on-one Swiss-based games. Event management has never been so simple, and it's done on the web, no downloads are required. You can sign up for $5 by visiting eminence.events/subscribe. Time to battle for the trophy. It's match number 5. We're currently 4-0. And with one more victory, we get that elusive Magic Online trophy. Let's see if we can win. Our opponent reveals a Jegantha the Wellspring. So here we have a hand with a bunch of, cards, I guess. But, no Lotus Field, no Ring, no Underworld Breach. In fact, I'd argue this hand is almost a mulligan to 5 with Tome Scour and Void Snare. So I think I'm actually going to mulligan this. I guess so. I don't love this hand. We really need to draw a fetched land for this Wishclaw Talisman. That's how this hand wins. This is a spot where Vizier is worse than a Mishra's Bauble. What are you playing? Is this just Shadow? It is Shadow. Okay, so tough matchup. We're going to bin the Vizier. We did not draw a land. They take the Wishclaw Talisman. I do think that was the correct choice. Terrible draw. Actual terrible. Okay. Not loving our odds right now. Dreadhorde Arcanist, so that means Thoughtseize is coming back next turn. I think I'm supposed to play the Oracle to essentially scry here. We'll put Lotus Field on the top. Pass. I can always bounce the Oracle with the Void Snare before I win the game. Our opponent attacks. They get to cast Thoughtseize. Ooh, they're considering. It's interesting. They're going to bolt my Oracle? Sure. So we have a window to try to win here. I'd have to get pretty lucky, but I think I need to take it. We're going to cycle Vizier. Come on, Tome Scour. I know I mulliganed you, but I'd really like you right now. Another Vizier is not bad. We'll cycle that. Untap. Draw. Alright, Lotus Field, not ideal here, but we... Hold on. I have Wishclaw in the graveyard. I don't think we have enough here for Wishclaw. I could be wrong. So let's just talk this out. So I have 9 cards. I'm not allowed to remove 3 of them. So Twiddle for blue, Twiddle for black. Wishclaw's 9. Yeah, that doesn't work. Alright, so we'll consider here. Exile some Viziers. That might have done it. So we'll keep the Dream's Grip. Untap. No, I'm 1 card short. So Wishclaw for black. I'd have to exile my Oracle. We can't win if I exile Oracle. So we'll add blue again. Consider. I think I have to exile the Wishclaw here. Actually, I can exile one of the extra Twiddles. Mill a Lotus Field. Yeah, things are not looking good now. Okay, so we were just 1 card and 1 mana short this game. Somehow find a miracle. Spin the land. Another Dream Script. In order for... I'd have to exile the Oracle here. We're better off just passing. Yeah, this doesn't win. I have to pass. So the problem is that they have a Thoughtseize in their graveyard and they can discard the other copy of Underworld Breach. We are so close right there. Incoming Thoughtseize, so Underworld Breach will leave. Yep. So it's not Shadow, or I don't think it is. I think it's just like Grixis Tempo. Expressive Iteration. They play a Scalding. They still have 7 cards in hand too, wow. We are forced to pass the turn. We are so close there. So they attack with a Dread Horde, and they'll cast Consider. We fall to 17 life, they're at 9. They play a Ragavan. Yeah, this is just Grixis Tempo. Okay, come on, deck. Draw. I think I'm just going to pass for now. I don't need a main phase Consider. One step Lightning Bolt puts me to 13. So now they attack. I will end up at 10 here. And they go for another Consider. So they're trying to find counter spells. Before damage, I'm going to fetch. Grab the Steam Vents. So we go to 9, and then Ragavan triggers. The problem with the Ragavan hitting here is that they get a 3rd blue, so I can't Dream Script to tap down a blue source anymore to shut off counterspell. Another Twiddle. Okay, on their end step, let's consider. Keep the Vizier. Okay, draw. Void Snare. I'm gonna cycle Vizier. Draw. Sleight of Hand. Take the Wishclaw. Let's play Wishclaw. We have to hope that we get another turn. I can't win this turn. Well, I could if I disrespected every counterspell in the game. We'll pass. I'm dead to Lightning Bolt. I am dead to probably Calgon's Command. I realize I could have played out the Lotus Field there. I chose not to specifically because of Calgon's Command. And here it is. So I'm going to activate for blue. I guess I'm dead because they can grab a bolt with Wishclaw. Maybe that line was just never good. And now we'll discard the Lotus Field. Alright, please don't kill me. My best draw is one of the 2 copies of Pact of Negation. They have 6 cards in hand. They're going to bolt me, so this will put me down to 3. So if they have one of their other 2 lightning bolts, I'm dead. They hit a Dream's Grip with the Ragavan, Snapcaster Bolt. That also does it. Okay, so we lost game number 1 to Grixis Tempo. We want these Spell Pierces. We also want Echoing Truth and Pact of Negation. I don't think we want Leyline, even though they're a Thoughtseize deck. It's just like, I think you're taking out too much. Going to shave a couple copies of Vizier. If you wanted to bring in the Leyline, I think you take out 2 more Viziers. And I don't even know. I'm just going to submit this. Game number 2. I think I'm going to keep it, but I don't love this hand. We'll pass. They play Eclipse into Thoughtseize. I'm going to consider in response. We will bend the Dream's Grip. Alright, so they're not really hitting anything good now. And we got to fill our graveyard up a little bit. If I can draw an Underworld Breach, I think might have a turn 3 here. I guess I would need a Twiddle in hand, so it's a turn 4. It's not that fast. They take a Void Snare. Okay. Another land, not a good draw. And they're just going to pass the turn, which I'm fine with. No pressure is fine with me. Grab a Steam Vents. Another land. Okay. Play it and pass. Definitely flooding a little bit here. They play land 3 blue for Snapcaster Mage. Sure. So if we could top deck the One Ring here, it would be huge. Yeah, you've got it. I got nothing. We'll fetch. Grab Watery Grave. Come on, the One Ring. Pretty please. Draw. No such luck. Pass the turn. They play a Ragavan. And they attack for 2, so I'm going to go to 15. Draw for turn. Pact of Negation. I guess we'll play Lotus Field. Keep the basics. Maybe actually, I should have kept one of the shocks there. I have a 3rd island. Like, I don't need triple island. That was dumb. It just makes like my combo turn a little bit more murky if I draw Wishclaw. Because I need to like untap Lotus Field. Well, that explains why they took the 2 bounce spells. Underworld Breach bouncing the Alpine Moon would still be fine though. We're not out of this yet. But I do need to draw something good soon. They play an end-step Consider. Duress. We have to let that happen. Their deck has a lot of hate in it. They took my counterspell, which makes sense. So now I take 4 down to 7. They hit another Pact of Negation. So they have 3 cards in hand, 2 cards. My only hope is that they're not counterspells and I draw Underworld Breach. Brutal. There's not even a fetchable for this Flooded Strand. I don't know why I played it. Pass. No One Ring, no Underworld Breach this game. Over 33% of the way through our deck, too. Okay, I'm at 3. Draw for turn. And unfortunately, we did not get the 5-0 trophy. Our deck kind of floundered out in match number 5. With a little bit disappointing. Renting your favorite combo deck has never been easier. There isn't a more affordable solution for Magic Online. Want to play the deck in this video? Check out the pinned comment below to easily rent the deck from Card Hoarder. Did you know you can rent the Epic Storm from Card Hoarder for as little as 7 tickets a week? We've made it simple to do so by including a button to rent the entire deck at theepicstorm.com/decklist. A little bit disappointing, but overall, I thought that this league was sweet. A little bit bummed we didn't win match 5. It happens, Magic, sometimes you don't win all the time. But I do think that this list was particularly good. I think the only card I'm not sold on is the Filter Out. I think that card maybe should be something else, but I liked everything else. If you have any suggestions on how to make this deck better, feel free to let me know in the comments section. I would greatly appreciate that. We didn't end up facing Living End, which is what the Leyline of the Voids were for. And we never really drew Leylines in the Rakdos matchup, which is what we wanted those for. I don't think you're supposed to board it versus Grixis Control due to counterspells plus discard. I could be wrong, but I just don't think there's enough cards to board out to bring those in. But thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it, and have a great day. Keep storming. Hey, Bryant Cook here. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, but also follow the social media channels down below. If you want to support this content directly, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/shop. And if you need a little bit of assistance with the Epic Storm to get to that next level, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/tutoring. Don't worry, there's more great content coming right up.